My name is Jerry Rubito. I've worked for the Sheriff's Departments from 1975 to 2009. I worked my way up to the ranks. My last 6 years I was the superintendent in charge of the prison. I ran work release down the CAC, putting inmates out into the community and getting them jobs, because I think that the most important thing in the world with inmates today is to make sure that they're marketable when they get out of jail. Right now, the only program they have in place at the jail is either drug and alcohol, which is a good program, and GED. But if an inmate gets out of jail today with a GED, goes for an interview for a job and says, "My name is Tom Smith, I just spent the last 2 years of my life in jail, but I have a GED," I personally know that that's not enough, because the different companies that I dealt with would ask me on a regular basis, "Does anybody have any skills, any carpentry, automotive, anything like that?" And I'd say, "Geez, not really." So I think, you think about overcrowding in jail, you think about the opiate problem. I've had many inmates come in my office and say, "Yeah, Jerry, getting out of jail on Saturday." I said, "Well, what's the problem?" "Well, I'm homeless, I have no place to go." That's one problem. Another problem, a guy would say, "Well, Jerry, I'm getting out of jail on Saturday." "Well, what's the problem?" "Well, I don't have a job, and I don't know what's going to happen. I'll probably end up doing drugs again, come back to jail." So I firmly believe that first and foremost, the homeless guys, we got to make sure we get these guys a trade, as well as others, but the homeless guys, we got to get them a job, get them a trade, get them a job, maybe 6 months, 8 months, a year into their sentence, save some money. But the way it is now is once they get out, they hand them a check and they say, "See you later." Can't do that. We have to get them an apartment, we got to get them on their feet, we got to get them in an aftercare program, because drug addicts, even though they're in jail for a year or two, that doesn't mean that they're going to start off on the right track once they get out. They need aftercare. One big thing about working in the jail, what I realize is inmates that go to jail is a major transition. Being in jail for a year or 2 years, when they get out, they feel they're not wanted, they feel strange, they don't feel like they're part of the program. So we have to reintegrate them back into society, because we don't want them to fail. So it's important that we give them job skills. I agree with the drug and alcohol, we need that. And as I said, I also agree with the GED, but to make them marketable is going to give them a shot. So if they get out of jail right now with a GED and they're lucky enough to get a job for McDonald's, what are they going to make? They're going to make a few dollars, they're not going to be able to survive, they're not going to be able to get an apartment. As a result, they're going to come back to jail.
Jerry,
Yes.
I'm going to interrupt you because
Sure.
I didn't tell you that we're going to have a time limit, so
Okay.
I know you've got a
Nope.
prepared speech.
Yep, I'll keep it
We're
short.
going to give you 3 more minutes.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, what I do know is this. With my 34 years of working in a jail with inmates, I'm well qualified for the job. There are people that are actually running for sheriff that never even worked in the jail. If they walk through the door today, they have to say, "Who's in charge? Okay, what do we do?" Jail's a serious place. You can't afford to put someone in a position like that that doesn't know what they're doing. It's very serious, and it needs someone that knows how to run a jail. I have 34 years working with inmates. I firmly believe I'm the guy for the job. Thank you.
You're running for the Middlesex County Sheriff?
It's Essex.
Essex County?
Yes.
And which jail did you work at?
Middleton.
Middleton?
Yes. I started at Lawrence Sheldon. When it closed, I went to Middleton.
You mentioned CAC, I don't know what that stands for.
CAC is a Correctional Alternative Center. When an inmate leaves Middleton, just toward the end of the sentence, he would go there.
Transitional kind of.
Transitional, correct. And then we get him a job in the community for some different company, save some money, and then maybe we can get him back on his feet. But the problem is, right now, all they do is they get a check when they get out of jail. And I learned the hard way, running work release, that that's not gonna work. You give a guy a check for $5,000, he's gonna go and have a party. So you gotta work with these guys and get them back on their feet.
Quick question.
Francisco?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Quick question, can you explain real quick, I mean, your background in terms to union representation?
Okay, my entire career, my first 25 years, I was an officer inside the jail. I was in a union. I was actually a union steward in the Lawrence jail. I'm representing officers for promotions, grievances for tidiness, whatever it may be. So for the 20 years I was a union member, and I certainly believe that a union has its place. I didn't leave the union until about probably my 25th year, and I went into management. But we had our own management union as well, so I also have been very well received by the unions. And when I worked with the unions, when I was a deputy, I was open to input. It wasn't my way, the highway. It was always, what do you think, guys? What do you think? Because I was a union guy for my first 25 years. Yes, sir.
Next one here.
Quick question, on your pamphlet here, it says there's 9 facilities in Essex County. I
Yes.
only know of 2, like, where are the other 7?
Okay, the facilities are, there's the jail in Middleton,
Yeah,
there's the CAC in Lawrence,
the farm,
yep, the WIT in Salisbury. There's the OCCs. OCCs is the program that the courts order these inmates when they get out of jail to go to these OCCs to give urines and take classroom it's like a support group. Combined, then there's halfway houses. There's 2 halfway houses in Lawrence. There's one in Salisbury. There's one in Lynn, which for a total of 9 facilities that the sheriff oversees.
A quick question,
Yes.
I've heard, a lot of guys get out of serving their sentence, and because they don't pass a core report, they're stuck. How do you feel about core reform, just because they have a record, they can't get a
Well, see,
job?
that's where I come in.
Yeah.
I ran work release and I work with the different businesses. I would go into these businesses and say, there's a lot of businesses out there that are looking for guys to get some skills.
Right.
But it has to be presented to them in the right way. I ran work release,
Right.
and I know how to sell it. I can guarantee them that these guys will do their job, we stay on
Right.
top of them. So, the companies that I've already dealt with are already established, so they've had inmates and they know it works. But I would go out to other companies, the ones that we get these kids trades,
Right.
and give them the same spiel of why I think these guys would be in the best interest of your
Right,
company. So they actually would put the fact aside that they were in jail.
right. Because I've heard businesses say, I'd like to hire you, but I can't.
Yeah, well, you know what, there has to be a presentation. There has someone to come in there and sell the program, versus just some kid walking in with tattoos up and down his arms and say, yeah, just get out of jail, do a good job. It's not gonna work that way. It needs someone like myself to go in there and set the program up. And then the other thing is to make sure you don't put a roofer in a restaurant. You don't put a guy in the restaurant business being a roofer. So you gotta place these people in the right places. And that's what I did.
If there are no further questions, we're close to our time.
Who's he ringing? It's Frank Cousins?
He's not running.
He's not running this
He's not
time,
running.
so it's an open,
It's an open field.
well, better luck.
Yeah.
No chance.
All right, our process is that we'll close the COPE meeting and we'll discuss all the candidates who came before us tonight.
Sure.
And you'll be notified by Tom, our
Yep.
Francisco. yeah.
executive.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry, for coming.
Thank you.
Are you scheduled to do this?
We'll entertain a motion to close the COPE meeting.
You know where you can find this. You know where you can find the video online. On my.
It is?
Yeah, I